rolling. We're going to start. Yes?
Ready?
We're all good? Gentlemen? Thank you. Senator, please provide us your reaction today.
So I'm glad that we're still moving the bill forward so we can have further conversations to protect 16 and 17-year-olds. But I am disappointed that they didn't take the amendments for all minors to be protected under a felony conviction.
And will you still be trying to fight for those provisions?
Absolutely. I am not going to give up fighting for those 16 and 17-year-olds. All minors should be protected from those that purchase children from sex, that want to buy sex from children. We should make sure that all minors are included. If you heard the Deputy District Attorney's statement, she says the amendment that the Public Safety Committee made us accept today, just now this lady beside me has to prove 2 crimes, correct? She has to prove they were bought, they were sold, they were involved in trafficking in order to go back to the perpetrator who initiated this whole process. I want to give my colleague, Assemblymember Lackey, a chance to share his thoughts because he was truly a champion, him and Assemblymember Alanis on the dais today.
I'm just really hurt by the fact that we have traffickers who have advocates. I mean, how does that not shock your conscience that we have people who are more sympathetic to offenders than victims? What is our world coming to? Where's our values? What is happening? I find it very, very disturbing that this is even a controversy. What we're trying to do is just have semblance of some sort of justice. We're not even talking about first-time offenders. This is, let me remind you, second-time offenders. What are we doing? Why is this a controversy? It should not be. We should have a heart for victims. For heaven's sake, these are children permanently injured by these people, and we're talking about these very, very obvious requests for some semblance of justice. This is not even justice. It's just get closer. And that's all I have to say. This is very hurtful.
Grown men that purchase children for sex in the state of California should be held accountable. It should be about those grown men purchasing children for sex, not about the children that are subject to their abuse.
Senator Grove, towards your closing statement, you have mentioned to Assemblyman Kevin McCarty about it shouldn't be that difficult. Could you kind of like clarify that? Were you talking about, maybe the understanding of the age that 16 or 17-year-olds are minors? Was that what you're trying to explain to me?
So it shouldn't be that difficult to get a bill out of this building that protects children from those that want to purchase them and buy them for sex. It should just be simple. It's completely bipartisan. I have joint co-authors that are Democrats. I have several Democrat co-authors and principal co-authors. But there are a few people in this building that make it sound like we are doing the wrong thing, trying to protect children from being purchased for sex. And it shouldn't be that difficult. This should be a no-brainer. If a grown man purchases children for sex, they should go to prison.
Senator Grove, can you just provide your response to how did you feel about your interactions with Kevin McCarty, what he said during the committee meeting, and do you feel like the message is getting across that he's saying these amendments will make it safer for victims of human trafficking? How do you feel about how?
I thank Kevin McCarty for meeting with me last night. If we'd had this conversation last week, last month, 3 days ago, 5 days ago, even yesterday morning when they canceled the third appointment, I believe, with me, then we could have ironed out all these things and explained to them the position we were taking. That would have been better, but here we are. We're moving forward with a wobbler for 15-year-olds and below. That's a step forward because right now it's a misdemeanor. You can still be charged as a misdemeanor, but there are DAs in this state that will charge that as a felony. There are also DAs in this state that are going to charge it as a misdemeanor. We're going to still continue to fight for 16 and 17-year-olds to make sure they're included in those additional protections.
And as a reminder, second offense. Second offense. I think that's important that the public knows that.
So in the beginning, we did have strict liability where it wasn't a second offense, but we took that amendment to get it out of public safety on the Senate side and a couple of other amendments. So Mr. Lackey is right. It's the second offense. Everybody gets a freebie to buy a child for sex in the state of California, and then the second time I want you to go to prison.
Is public safety being jeopardized by political gamesmanship? What's the motive here on the other side?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I actually stopped one of the opposing individuals and I said, can you try to explain to me because I don't understand? And he says it's about restorative justice and that the victim and the perpetrator should sit down and have a dialogue together. Well, to me that makes no sense because the bottom line is if you're 16 or 17-year-old, I don't think you want to sit down and have a dialogue with a 44-year-old doctor or someone who bought you for sex and abused you. I don't see that in the real world. So I can't answer your question.
Yeah, and the society as a whole, it seems like protecting our children should be common sense. Yet for some reason, we have so many obstacles in the legislature when we try to approach these issues. Where do we need to go from here?
So I'm just saying I agree with you 100%. That's my comment that I made to the chair. It shouldn't be that difficult to address buying sex for minors. The perpetrator that buys the sex for minors should be in prison.
As a survivor who was trafficked from 13, and then the worst of my trafficking happened between 16 and 17, I can tell you firsthand how, at that age, you often don't even realize you're a victim. So to have to try to prove that you raped and trafficked, and you don't even know that you're a victim, or what trafficking even is not fair. I didn't learn I was a victim of trafficking until I graduated.
And as a survivor, do you feel that situations like this are even more traumatic, but potentially re-traumatizing victims by forcing them to go through these situations?
I do, yes. I mean, they have to first come with the notion that they're even a victim, and then have to go face these people who bought them and stole their childhood. People often say, you know, this is just like, you know, this is something they want to do. This is something foster kids do. Until you've experienced it, you don't truly understand, but this is not a dream. You have buyers who constantly try to kill you, who rape you, who burn you, torture you. It's not something somebody dreams of. And so for them to have to then go face these people who did these things to them is not fair to them.
Odessa.
I am also a survivor of human trafficking, and I was trafficked from the time I was in 9th grade till I was out of high school. And this is unfair. I think one of the takeaways that I would say happened in there when he said, I know you tried to shoot for the stars. We're not stars. We're victims, and we're trying to get on the other side. And to say shooting for the stars is utterly offensive.
Absolutely. Especially when for everything else, being under 18 is a minor. It really is shocking to see that we're trying to cut away 16 and 17-year-olds in this situation.
It's unfair. I was trafficked at that age. She was trafficked at that age. You have a boatload of survivors here. You have them on the news right now. We didn't ask for this. We didn't ask for men to climb on top of us. We didn't ask for women to climb on top of us, but it happened. And to diminish it is unfair.
You have to be 18 to use a tanning bed in this state. I mean, think about that for just a brief moment. You have to be 18 to use a tanning bed. But they're saying that 16 and 17-year-olds don't deserve the protections to protect them from somebody who purchased them for sex. Thank you guys.
Thank you.